Good evening, Budewig parents. I am Miss Turner, the building principal here on campus. I want to welcome you to our open house. At this time, my administrative team would like to introduce themselves.
Hello parents, my name is Christopher Rhodes. I'm assistant principal intern.
Hello parents, my name is Elena Byers and I'm an assistant principal.
Hello all, my name is Sandra Prafford. I am assistant principal as well.
Parents, we just want to share some pieces of information that are important to our campus that affect your students and you as we continue through the year. At this time, we're going to highlight several important key factors and points that will make your child's year here at Budewig very successful.
All right parents, so one of the first things that we want to touch with you tonight is that we have our agendas that we use to communicate with you on a daily basis. As you can see, when we open up our student agendas, it does have our weekly agenda, our character traits of what we're working on. On the right-hand side here of the agenda, you will find a parent signature. We are requesting that you take a look at the student agenda. They should be writing in all their TLWs, which means all content areas of what is being covered for that day, as well as any notes at the very bottom that the teachers are wanting to communicate with you or you wanting to communicate with us as well. And then most importantly, your parent signature. That tells us that you did take a look at this agenda. You are aware of what's been going on with their learning and academics all day, as well as any concerns or questions or any things we want to praise your students for an awesome day. We also do write it in our agendas here at the very bottom. So please know, excuse me, please know if you have any questions or any concerns or you want to meet with us, write it in our student agendas or give us a call at any point in time. You'll notice that our agendas are going home daily. If your student says, no, I don't bring home my agenda, that's not correct. They do take the agenda home daily. The very first thing teachers do in the morning is check student agendas for parent signatures.
New parents, we're going to talk further more about the agenda, the attendance part of the agenda. Today, when you come in for school every morning, school hours are 8:35 to 3:50. There's a correction that we have to make here in the agenda. It says 8:40, but according to ALEAF guidelines, our start time begins at 8:35. Boys and girls, we really need you to be here at 8:35, because at 8:36 we will be marking you late for attendance. Also, there's other information here. Talks about your ID and your transportation, but as well for breakfast, students that are car riders that are dropped off in the morning at 8:30, that is our cutoff. The cafeteria is closed for our students at that time. So parents, please drop your students off a little earlier at 8:30, a little bit before 8:30, so that they can eat breakfast in our cafeteria. Transportation for your students. If you're coming to pick up your students early as well, we need you to pick them up before 3 o'clock. Those notes need to come home. Here in the agenda, it states that you can call for your students to change of transportation. But please send a note with your child with the ID from you as well. It can also be sent by email as well, but you have to have a parent ID attached to that email with a letter stating that your child needs a transportation change. At 3 o'clock, we will not take any other release for transportation, and it is totally up to the administrators if there's any emergencies or anything that happened after 3 o'clock. Also, if you're picking your child up late, at least try to pick your child up by 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is the latest time. After 4 o'clock, you need to walk into the building to sign your child out, as we need an ID to check to see who's picking your child up as well. It's all about a safety concern for us.
Hi parents. On page 6 of the agenda, you'll find the Budewig mode of dress. All students must have a solid polo shirt on when they come to school. Bottoms can be khaki or navy. The only exception that we have to this rule is you can't wear the same color top and bottom. So they can't have the navy color shirt and the navy color pants. No stripes or decorations can be on their shirt at all. No written graphics on the clothing are permitted. No hoodies are allowed in the building. No baggy or saggy pants are allowed as well. Spirit Days. Only students who receive all E's and S's in conduct for the week may wear jeans on Spirit Days. No office referrals or bus referrals for the week. Classrooms cannot receive red cups at lunch, and no mode of dress infractions for the week. If they follow all those guidelines, they can wear jeans on Spirit Days.
Parents, please know that all the decisions made here on campus are truly for the safety of your student. When we talk about picking students up early or changing their mode of transportation, as Ms. Bradford explained, that ID, that identification, really helps us to make sure that the right people are picking up your child and prevents any mishaps or your students going home with friends or somebody else that was not intended to happen. Please know that our transportation policies, our pickup, drop-off, dismissal, we really have the best interest of our kids at heart, and those decisions for them to be able to be car riders or walkers and not allowing the pickup on the streets, those are really safety concerns for us. So please understand that every decision we make is based on the safety of your child. One of the concerns that we do have here on campus is the cell phone policy. Parents, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the digital footprint that goes along with having a cell phone and students having access to technology 24/7. How technology can be a wonderful thing for our students, it can be very detrimental to them as well. This year, let alone, we've had several experiences with students posting things on different group chats or different platforms that affect all of our students. So we really want to make sure that you're taking a true interest in what's in their cell phones and those platforms that they're using for social media. Our boys and girls are on there all the time. We have seen many, many posts this year already that are talking about kids wanting to hurt one another, or kids calling people out of their names, or talking about medical conditions. That's the safety concern for us here on our campus. It may be happening at home or on the weekends, but it spills over into our academic time here on campus. So therefore, we do have an electronic policy for our electronic devices. In the agenda, it does say that the boys and girls must turn their devices off here at campus. We will be instituting a new policy that will be coming home that may look different than what's in the agenda at this time. Parents, if your child does not have a need for an electronic device or a cell phone here on campus, I encourage you to keep that cell phone at home. A lot of parents like it for the safety purposes, to know when their child gets off the bus or if they're a walker. But if that's not your purpose and they just have a cell phone because they have a cell phone, I would strongly consider keeping that cell phone at home during the school day. If a cell phone is broken, lost, stolen, it's not the responsibility of the school. It is the child's responsibility to make sure that it's put away. So in our agenda, it does say that they must be turned off and put away out of sight. That means they should not be in their pockets, in their desks. If they are in their pockets or in the desks, staff members may ask and may collect those cell phones. After so many times of taking the cell phone, if it becomes a distraction, they are picked up by the teachers and turned into the AP office, and parents will have to come to the school with their ID and pay a $15 fee. Our new policy will have teachers collecting cell phones, so students can still turn them off and leave them in their backpacks. But if they're not comfortable with that because they're afraid another child will steal their cell phone or may go into the backpack closet and go into the backpack and take it, teachers will have a box with Ziploc baggies with each child's name on it, and they will turn their cell phones off, put it into the baggie, zip it up, and put it into a Tupperware container. The teacher will then lock that up in a drawer or a file cabinet that they have in their classroom. If the teacher chooses to use electronic devices that day for instructional purposes, they will pull those out, give them back to the kids, instruct them to turn them back on, sign into our BOYD services, and allow students to use them in class. If not, they will be given back to them at the end of the day. What's happening is we have kids taking those cell phones into the restrooms, taking inappropriate pictures. We have kids filming video clips of things that they should not be video filming. as well as taking pictures of people who are not giving them permission to take pictures or videos of them. We have kids picking on each other and using these devices for those purposes. That is not our intent here at Budewig Intermediate. Our intent is for our students to come to school, feel safe, feel like they are being treated fairly, and not to have a cell phone be that distraction for our academics. So parents, we definitely appreciate your support in helping us, as well as I'm sure you've seen all the stories about how technology plays an important role, but cell phones are causing a lot of damage as well. So we really ask that you jump on board. The full policy will come home next week, so parents will receive that. But I wanted to give you a heads up as to what was going on here on campus. So please make sure you take the time to talk to your students about the importance of using their cell phone correctly, and that it must be turned off during the school day. If the teacher asks for it, there's a reason for it, because the child's using it inappropriately or at inappropriate times. I really appreciate you all coming out this evening. I encourage you to really look closely at the agenda, as well as the student code of conduct, the handbook that came home. All of our policies that we follow as a district are in there. You've already signed that document, that you're in agreement and you're aware of what goes on. We ask that our boys and girls, behave appropriately here in school. And as I said before, those decisions that are made are for the safety of our students. So I will always put safety first, and the safety of your own child. That's how we operate as a team here on campus. We have to look at the big picture and how it affects all students. So we encourage you to help us out in making sure that you review the handbook and the agenda with your students. At any time, if you have a question, you can feel free to call any of us here on campus, whether it be your child's teacher or the administrative team, or my front office. I want to thank each of you for coming out this evening, taking the time and taking an interest in your child's education, as well as getting the opportunity to learn more about what's going on in their classroom and the expectations of the teachers. I hope you all have a great evening, and we will definitely see you around the building at all the different events. We look forward to seeing you in October when we have our open night for our book fair and our digital learning event. Have a great evening.